Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome episode of Youth Connect. For those who don't know, I'm Aiden.
Welcome to Canada News. My name is Kevin Aruja.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. For those who want to know in advance, it is going to be me and Kevin in person, but we also have two videos today, one from Jeff and one from Logan. So do not worry, you will get your music and you will get your cooking knowledge, but not in a live aspect. But you'll still get to listen and get to learn because it's always fun to learn on Youth Connect. For those who don't know, I'm so excited to see you today. Youth Connect is a news, interest, entertainment show that is more than just sharing stories. We are working at creating a platform of inclusion and acceptance, one episode at a time. I know that Youth Connect is going to be a show that you are going to love. There is a ton of news, but more importantly, the best thing that we always start off with is a video game with video game news. All right, guys. So for video games, I was thinking to myself, what game could I bring to you that was quite interesting? And today, I actually have a game that I was actually really intrigued about because I talked about a game a few years ago that actually blew everybody's mind. And I know that me and my sister absolutely love this game. So if my sister is tuning in today, I really hope that you keep your ears peeled because this game is going to blow your socks off because it with the creator of Untitled Goose Game, another game has shown itself to the world, which I didn't even know about, which apparently was super popular. And today's game of the week with a 10 out of 10 rating is Thank Goodness You're Here. After arriving early for a big meeting with the mayor, of a bizarre northern English town, a traveling salesman takes the time to explore and meet the locals, who are all very eager to give him a series of increasingly odd jobs. Welcome to Thank Goodness You're Here. It's a comedy slap former, as they call it, which unfolds over time as the player's exploration and antics leave their mark on the strange town of Barnsworth. With each completed odd job, new areas of the town open up. Stranger and stranger tasks become available. And as the clock ticks towards our salesman's big meeting, the town's colorful inhabitants are brought to life with vibrant hand-drawn animation, fully voiced dialogue, and wall-to-wall double entendres. Interesting. But more importantly, it is a game that has a lot of British humor. I will say that it does have an 18 plus rating, but if you look past the rating, apparently the game is absolutely fantastic, full of humor, and I am going to be buying this game later today. And I actually have bought this game, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And I really endorse this game, and I really hope that you check it out. It's on, now do note, it's on Nintendo Switch, which has toned it down. There is PlayStation, Xbox, PC, wherever you want to get the game, you can get it. But I really hope that you check out Thank Goodness You're Here, a British comedy slapformer. Oh, this game looks amazing, guys. Please check this game out if you love the Untitled Goose Game. But do watch out for that 18 plus rating. Anyways, though, I'm going to keep it moving. I hope that you check it out. But next up is Kevin with some all-important news, sports, and weather. And I just can't wait to hear the interesting fact that's going to be shared.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Youth Connect News. I'm your host, Kevin Aruja. Let's get right into the headlines. Cell phones will be banned in Ontario classrooms when students will return next week. The TTC names Bruce McGregor as an acting CEO. Canada Post at critical juncture, which is financial situation is unsustainable. And Lorenzo Inzine helps Toronto FC to reach Canadian championships during the finals. Ontario's new education minister says that the government has begun an advertising blitz to make students and parents aware of a new cell phone ban that will be in effect when classes resume next week. For the upcoming school years, students in kindergarten to grade 6 will be asked to keep their phones on silent and out of sight for the entire day, unless permitted by an educator. Students in grade 7 and 12 will be permitted to use cell phones on school property, but only outside of class time. The Ford government announced that the cell phone ban back in April, but the news rule had only takes effect with the start of a 2024 to 25 school year. As part of a new policy, the social media sites will also be blocked on school networks and devices. Students will be allowed to use cell phones during class time if it is for a legitimate educational purpose, but that will be up to the discretion of teachers. Dunlop said that the advertising campaign about the new rules began this week and will include online and print spots. Looking ahead to the return of students next week, she conceded that enforcement is going to be a big issue, but said that there are existing disciplinary policies in place that will allow educators to enforce the new policy. A spokesperson for the Toronto District School Board told CTV News on Thursday that it is currently revising its codes of conduct and current policies to reflect the new rules. Bruce McGregor, the deputy CEO of the Toronto Transit Commission, has been tapped as a temporary chief of the city's public transit system. During a Wednesday special meeting, the TTC board approved the appointment of McGregor as an acting CEO. He will assume the position after Rick Leary formally resigns on Friday. Meyer shared that the city hired a third party to help them pick an interim CEO and eventually a permanent replacement for Leary. He cannot provide a firm timeline for when a permanent CEO will be picked, but said the city is doing an international search, which could take at least 6 months. In June, Leary announced he was resigning from his CEO role, a title he has held since 2018. When asked if McGregor is also in the running for the interim and permanent CEO positions, the councillor refused to answer, citing confidentiality reasons. McGregor joined the TTC in October 2023 after serving as the Chief Administrative Office of York Region for 16 years. Myers described McGregor as a first-class professional. The chair of Canada Post Board says that the organization's final situation is unsustainable. The board and senior management recognize that Canada Post is at the critical juncture, said Andre Huden at its annual general meeting on Wednesday. The surge in online shopping during the pandemic it reshaped the parcel delivery market, and Canada Post is competing with high-tech, low-cost operators who are rapidly and relentlessly evolving, Huden said. He said that the organization has already taken some steps to try and address these challenges, including pausing some investments to concentrate on core priorities and reducing costs at all levels. Huden said the company has been working hard to deliver new services to help to make sure Canada Post more competitive in parcel delivery as an e-commerce market is projected to double in the next decade. In order to complete, Ettinger said Canada Post needs more flexibility in its operations and its investments, as well as from a regulatory standpoint. In August, Canada Post reported a second quarter profit of $46 million before tax at a one-time sale of subsidiaries helped offset an operational loss for $269 million. That's compared with loss of $76 million before tax in the first quarter of the year. In January, Canada Post and Purolator Holdings Incorporated announced they were divesting their shares in subsidiaries Side Groups Inc. and Innovapost Inc. The transaction closed earlier on this year. And moving forward to the sports news, Lorenzo Inzaghi goal early in the second half carried on Toronto FC to a 1-0 win over Hamilton's Base Forge FC on Tuesday and a berth in the Canadian Championship final. George FC held a 2-1 aggregate aggregate lead after winning the first leg at Tim Hortons Field on July 10th. That meant to win the semifinal, TFC needed a sheet victory or win by at least 2 goals if Hamilton's Canadian Premier League scored with an away goal in a Toronto's BMO Field. Toronto FC will face the winner of the semifinal between the Vancouver Whitecaps and the Pacific FC. The Whitecaps had a 1-0 lead on aggregate heading into Tuesday's second leg between the two West Coast teams. Regardless of who won the West Coast semifinal, British Columbia will host the Canadian Championship final in late September. No Canadian Premier League's team has ever won the Voyageurs Cup, the Canadian Championship trophy, and Toronto FC has won it 8 times. Kwasi Poku and Benny Bendebaga scored for Forge in the semifinals opening leg in Hamilton before substitute Prince Owusu got a late away goal for TFC. Poku from Brampton, Ontario, was sent to Belgian side RWD Molenbeek on August 21st for a CPL record transfer fee. It was studied to see where Tuesday's match began, but felt like 41 with the humidity at BMO Field. Toronto FC pressed from the outset, working to not just win the match but take the semifinals lead on aggregate. The Reds possessed the ball 69% of the first half and were especially aggressive in the first 10 minutes of play. In today's weather forecast, we've got mainly sunny this afternoon. The temperature is now 24 degrees. And tomorrow we will get a mix of sun and clouds. The temperature will be 25 degrees. And now moving forward for the interesting fact, the topic's going to be woodpecker. Yes, not like exactly from cartoons, but it is the real woodpecker. Woodpeckers are part of the bird family Picidae, which also includes the piculets, uh, wirenecks, and sapsuckers. Members of this family are found worldwide except for Australia, New Guinea, New Zealand, Madagascar, and extreme polar regions. Sorry about that. Most species live in forest or woodland habitats, although a few species are known that lived in a treeless areas such as rocky hillsides and deserts. And the Gila woodpecker specializes in exploiting cacti. Members of this family are chiefly known for its characteristics behavior. The most forage for insect prey on the trunks and branches of trees and often communicate by drumming with their beaks, producing a reverberatory sound that can be heard at some instant distance. Some species vary their diet with fruits, birds, eggs, small animals, tree sap, human scraps, and of course carrion. They usually nest and roost in holes that they excavate in tree trunks, and their abandoned holes are of importance to other cavity nesting birds. Some sometimes comes into conflict with humans when they make holes in buildings or feed in fruit crops, but perform a useful service by the removal of insect pests on trees. So I have a sixth interesting fact about woodpecker. They prefer dead trees. Gardeners and homeowners will appreciate this one of our woodpecker facts. Don't worry about these birds damaging their tree. The birds prefer dead or dying trees because the trees are insect magnets. It's also easier to drill into a snag, which is a dead or dying tree. The soft rotting wood is perfect for finding insect and carving a nesting cavity. So the second fact is that woodpeckers are found nearly everywhere. Yes, most of the woodpeckers are tied to forest, woodlands, and shrublands, but some species, such as the northern flickers, hang out in the woodland edges. Downy woodpeckers look for the spots near water, and acorn woodpeckers stake out oak woodlands. But some woodpeckers are desert birds. The Gila woodpecker thrives in the nearly treeless desert habitats of the southwest United States and Mexico. These woodpeckers excavate holes in living saguaro cactuses, allow the plants to dry out and then inhabit them. The third fact is woodpeckers have strong head muscles. Absolutely. Strong, dense neck muscles allow woodpeckers to repeatedly drill up to 20 times a second. While extra muscles in the skull act as a protective helmet by keeping the brain from jiggling around when the woodpecker is drumming. The fourth fact is woodpecker drill holes depending on their size. Usually, the bigger the woodpecker, the bigger the hole it makes. The nesting cavities of pileated woodpeckers range from 10 to 24 inches deep, which is twice as deep as those of downy and red-bellied woodpeckers. The fifth fact is woodpeckers fly like goldfinches. Woodpeckers fly in an undulating pattern similar to that of a goldfinch's. Unda is a Latin word that means wave. The motion is like roller coaster. The bird flaps his wings during the rising phase, then glides as it descends into the valley of the waves. And the last fact is woodpeckers have a varied diet. As omnivores, woodpeckers eat a mix of foods. They target insects, spiders, seeds, nuts, and acorns, as well as fruit and sap, and will even sip nectar from the hummingbird feeder on occasion. They also love suet, which you could provide a hanging suet feeder cages to attract them to your yard. So that's all for me. This is Kevin Roja signing off, and it's back to you, Aiden. See you next Friday.
So I was researching a little bit more about woodpeckers, and I remember that well, technically my family, because I don't remember this pretty well, but there was a character called Woody Woodpecker. And did you guys know that Woody Woodpecker, a character from Looney Tunes, had over 7 video games made just about him? And let's be honest, Woodpecker, if you guys don't know, was a canceled mascot, a mascot that was trying to be for Looney Tunes, but unfortunately flopped. And some of these games include Woody Woodpecker for the PlayStation 2, Woody Woodpecker and Crazy Castle 2, and also Woody Woodpecker in Crazy Castle 5, which if you guys don't know about Crazy Castle is actually a reskin of a Shrek game, which is actually a reskin of a bootleg game, which is actually a reskin of a Japanese only title that was all about Indiana Jones. That game has a lot going on with it. But it's actually quite interesting to learn about Woody Woodpecker and woodpeckers in general. But thank you so much, Kevin, for all the news, not only just woodpeckers, but your sports news, your weather, and more importantly, your world news. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, let's keep it moving. So, for those who are interested in Zelda, there was actually a game that I talked about a few weeks ago called The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which was released during Nintendo's recent Direct. And interesting fact is that there was a brand new trailer with a little over 5 minutes, and it shows off a number of new features for the Hyrule Princess's Adventure. Because if you guys know, the new Legend of Zelda game is all about Zelda. How interesting is that? It is so awesome to see a reverse and see how Zelda is the main character. I really appreciate it. So now we've learned that we are in a realm called the Still World, filled with complex dungeons and inventive puzzle platforming. That was the main event about this game. But I'm sure that most of you will instead be talking about how Zelda will, in fact, be able to use a sword when Echoes of Wisdom releases on September 26th. So we've seen in Echoes of Wisdom a mysterious purple infection that's engulfing Hyrule and sucking up the land and its people, including Link. It appears that everything getting sucked up into the purple void goes to a place called the Still World, shown off in the latest trailer. It's a second map that can be entered from different points in the main overworld. And if you guys remember, there was a 3DS game called it was a link between worlds, or the dark world, like a link to the past. But I think a link between worlds is more of the idea that I'm going towards. Unlike the main overworld of Echoes of Wisdom, the Still World is a topsy-turvy place in which the land has been morphed or completely flipped as they suspend in the void. This effectively creates a puzzle platformer for Zelda to traverse and use the use of echoes, the game's central mechanic. So echoes will allow Zelda to summon objects and even NPCs from her staff to complete puzzles and fight off enemies. So interesting fact is that there are boss battles, and these boss fights really show off the limitations of the ecosystem. So I will say that the ecosystem really just allows you to summon anything you want. And honestly, I think that this game is quite amazing because in the battle, so in this trailer, whoever was playing Zelda just summoned a bed, and Zelda in the middle of a boss fight just went into the bed and went night night. Decided that she needed to get some shut eye. Now, interestingly, I think it's really funny to really showcase that because this game is boasting the ability to just create with your mind using your imagination, and I really do appreciate that because I really didn't want something where where Zelda's powers make no sense. And the staff's actually been seen in other games, and I actually really like it. There's also, like I said with the sword, Zelda's sword fighter form, which actually gives her a Link-like look and her very own pointed weapon. And this form seems to play about how you would expect in a traditional Zelda game, but the ability is on a timer, so the princess can only swing the sword around for a brief period. So apparently, there's going to be a leveling system where the higher you level it up, the more you can use that link form or sword fighter format, as most people are calling it. But I like calling it the link form. Interestingly enough, there are a lot of levels, a lot of different characters, and a inventor named Dampy, which is actually going to be Zelda's main helper, who will give her mechanical allies to use different abilities than Echoes. So this game has a lot to offer. If you are interested in Legend of Zelda, I recommend that you check out Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. I'm not big on Zelda. My brother-in-law loves Zelda, and the way that they're doing it with Zelda having these unique abilities and not just like a rehash of Link's old abilities is definitely a thumbs up for me. I really like it, and it really looks quite interesting. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it. But I'm going to keep it moving. If you guys know, we're going to keep moving forward. And next up, we have a video from Chef Logan. I am not sure about you, but I just cannot wait to hear what cooking knowledge he has to share today.
Hello, Youth Connect. Hi, I'm Logan, and for today's topic, I'll be telling all of you about ghost kitchens. Now, you may hear the word ghost kitchens and assume that it's a haunted place where specters will serve you food, but that is not in fact the truth. Ghost kitchens, also known as dark kitchens or virtual restaurants, is a sort of food service business that serves customers exclusively using either delivery or pickup. Now, ghost kitchens can operate out of an existing restaurant or a kitchen that is set up separately from said restaurant. And so, since there is no dine-in, ghost kitchens save money on real estate and operating costs, as there is no need for a dining room. Now, the popularity of ghost kitchens really skyrocketed during the COVID-19 pandemic, where dine-in was forbidden and the popularity of online delivery was in all-time demand, particularly with food delivery apps such as Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber Eats. And these apps managed to make a ton of money during the pandemic by offering ghost kitchen services to several brick and mortar restaurants that were closing down because they relied on dine-in and that was not allowed during the pandemic. These food delivery apps essentially offered them to convert their kitchens into ghost kitchens and to have their staff cook food for online delivery. And this really helped to keep their kitchens busy and reduce staff layoffs. Ghost kitchens, in fact, became so popular during the pandemic and made so much money for these food delivery apps that they even began building their own ghost kitchens from the ground up in order to service their online delivery instead of leasing out their services to other kitchens. So yeah, that is a little bit on the popularity of ghost kitchens during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, another thing to note about ghost kitchens is that they're often associated with other more larger, more notable brands. There are plenty of ghost kitchen brands that are exclusively online. They're actually linked with several brick and mortar locations. For example, if you ever go onto any of those online food delivery apps and you see a restaurant on there called Burgerden or Meltdown, then you should know that those two online ghost kitchen businesses are actually owned by Denny's. And what that basically means is that the food for those online locations are actually made in Denny's restaurants. I'll go over a few more examples. If you've ever seen online Cosmic Wings or Neighborhood Rings, those are two ghost kitchen chains that are owned by Applebee's. There is also Tender Shack, which is owned by Outback Steakhouse. There is Pascali's Pizza and Wings, which is a ghost kitchen company that's owned by Chuck E. Cheese. I like this one because it's actually kind of clever. Pascali is actually one of the Chuck E. Cheese mascots. He's this guy. You've probably seen him sometime if you've ever been to a Chuck E. Cheese location. And yeah, I think that it was like just a little clever joke. And then lastly, IHOP actually owns a lot of ghost kitchen brands. Some of these include Thrilled Cheese, Super Megadilla, Pardon My Cheesesteak, and the Tender Fix. All of these owned by IHOP. So if you ever went to a food delivery app and you ordered like a grilled cheese, a quesadilla, a cheesesteak, or some chicken tenders, just know that some of these may have been made in actual IHOP restaurants, the place with pancakes. So yeah, that just about wraps up my little lesson today about ghost kitchens. I hope you all learned something very insightful. And back to you, Aiden.
You know what? Surprisingly enough, I've actually had a ghost kitchen actually appear nearby where I live, and they're actually selling things that I would have never been able to reach because they're so far away. I do think that ghost kitchens are quite interesting, and the fact that I hear that IHOP and Chuck E. Cheese own several of these strange ghost restaurants, or as Logan called, well, actually a virtual restaurant or ghost kitchens, whatever you want to call them. I definitely do appreciate it. And you know what? It's quite interesting to learn about it. If you guys want to learn more about virtual kitchens or ghost kitchens or virtual restaurants, whatever you want to call them, I really do recommend checking them out. They're actually quite cool, and there might be one nearby you. I will say before we get to community news, I did see in the chat someone wants me to acknowledge some news. So I saw that in the chat, somebody was talking about a loss for all Canadians, and I don't know much about them, but I did research about them, and I'm very saddened to hear about the NHL star Johnny. I apologize if I butchered a name here. Johnny Gaudreau, and his brother, who were fatally struck by a suspected drunken driver while riding their bikes in New Jersey. I will say our thoughts and prayers go out to their families and friends during this difficult time. So I'm very sad to hear that. But I am going to bring it more positively with some interesting community news. So if you guys know, we always have an off week and an on week. And let me just say, this week was our super ability week, and it was packed with fun, learning, and creativity. We kicked off each day with our 9:30 a.m. chat cafe, where everyone gathered to catch up and chat about the day plans. We also did our I Can Discover classes, where we learned a whole bunch of stuff. Miss Christine led us through a delicious no-bake cookie session. And I'm going to say this, there were no leftovers, and they were absolutely chocolatey and delicious. And with the end, we wrapped it up with a general knowledge quiz with testing our long-term memory and sharing lots of laughs along the way. And guess who won? I won't tell you, but it might have been me. I won't spoil it though. You might need to ask our community who won that general knowledge quiz. It's been a real amazing week, and I hope that you guys are looking forward to the next one. And thank you, everybody who have participated, who have taught the classes, and have made it so special. Thank you guys so much. Ah, it's absolutely amazing what community can do as a group. Now, I will technically keep it moving, and you know what? We always got to have our last thing. Now, what is our last thing? I always call it the cherry on top. All right. Next up, we're going to be having Jeffrey, our musician, with some music.
Hi everybody. Hope everybody's ready to dance. Get up and dance. And I'm gonna be playing Cookie I Love You, one of my original songs, so hope you like it. I just gotta say when you look at me in that special way, I wanna know you, still you feel it in my mouth. Love you, Cookie, I truly do. What I want a heart as you do. Let me don't you want to feel my anticipation before I'm planning more 5, 6. Love the mix 7, 8. Love is real. It's definitely pain. Cookie, I love you. Cookie, you're so true. Cookie, multiply my feelings for you. Your cripple bites, yeah, I got something. Your soft center gets my hips up bumping, yeah. My tongue remembers your sweet taste. My brain screams disarranged. I've got to feel my face. Let me don't you want to feel my first impression before planning more 5, 6. Love the mix 7, 8. Love is real, it's definitely pain. Stop, there's no rush. Cookie, truly love you till you are a mush. Cookie, I love you. Your cripple bites, yeah, my heart thumping. Your soft center gets my hips a bumping, yeah. My tongue remembers your sweet taste. My brain screams disarray. I've got to feel my face. Let me don't you want to build my anticipation before planning more 5, 6. Love the mix 7, 8. Love is real, it's definitely pain. Can't stop, there's no rush. Cookie, I truly love you till you are a mush. Cookie, I love you. Scabba-dabba-doo-ba-dabba-doo. Scabba-dabba-doo-da-da-da-doo. Scabba-dabba-doo-da-da-da-doo. Scabba-dabba-doo. Dabba-dabba-doo-da-da-da-doo. Dabba-dabba-doo-da-da-da-doo. Scabba-dabba-doo-da-da-da-doo. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. This is Jeffrey, your live musician. I'll see you all next week, and make sure to check out my website, jeffraycommit.com. Anyways, it's back to you again. Bye, everybody.
I will say, out of all the songs that Jeffrey sings, I think that his original songs are the absolute best. I know that our community absolutely loves them, and I really hope that he sings more. If you guys listen closely and you keep your eyes peeled, you might even see Jeffrey sing a brand new song. You never know what's going to happen on Use Connect. But unfortunately, today's episode has come to an end. And I really hope that you enjoyed Use Connect. If you like Use Connect, I need you to do two things for me. I need you to like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to click the notification bell.
I will say thank you so much for all of our watchers, listeners, or whatever in the chat. And I really appreciate the news. I really appreciate all the comments. I appreciate the news that were shared. I really appreciate all the awesome stuff. And I will say thank you so much to Kevin. And I really hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Do something fun. And if you guys know, today, next week, or technically this week, is a long weekend. So enjoy that one Monday off for Labor Day. I hope that you have an awesome weekend, guys. Thank you so much, Kevin, for showing up. And I appreciate it. And thank you so much to Christine Joseph Davies for the new suggestion. And we will see you all next time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.